Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda, DZBS Baguio, member kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Karambola sa DWIZ. Programang sasagutin ang iba't ibang isyu at mga balita. Karambola sa DWIZ. Tatalakayin, hihimayin at pagtatalunan ang iba't ibang mga isyu. Karambola sa DWIZ. Programang pwede kang mag-unsa, pero for now, pwede ka rin mas-run. At ngayon, narito na ang inyong mga karambulista at ang programa Karambola sa DWIZ.
A military cargo plane that landed sa NAIA.
Military cargo plane.
Yes, malaki.
Malaki yan. Okay.
Sabi ko nga, malaki kasi parang I'm not very good at identifying this particular plane. Medyo but it looked to me like something like a really large C-130. So, yung ganon, yung may opening sa likod para kasya yung truck and other So, hindi alam kung ano yung sakay. Walang information on anything like that. But sources at the Department of Foreign Affairs said that there's a photograph of a plane that
US
landed
Air Force, may markings na
may
US Air
markings.
Force.
Yes, US Air Force. Unmistakably. So it's a US Air Force plane that landed in NAIA, pero hindi maliwanag kasi ang clearance na medyo nagtaka syempre ang civilian authority sa ating air traffic control kung ano yung clearance nito to land. And apparently, based on the reaction or non-reaction of our military and that of the DFA, it is in relation to the EDCA. Okay, so the sources at the DFA confirm this. What they do not confirm is that if it has anything to do with the Afghan applicants for special immigrant visa status in the United States.
Okay.
Anong ibig sabihin nun?
Well, that is speculation naman kung Afghan nga yan.
Walang
o
yan sinasabing
armaments,
gano'n.
o si Chris Hemsworth, nakasakay dyan, meron
Kala, you wish.
ililigtas naman. Extraction 3, shooting, hindi natin. But basically, well, when you do watch those movies too, talagang those with ang US military, US, kung meron silang special relationships with certain countries, whether it's in South America or in the Philippines, medyo meron na-wave siguro no mga protocols pag sila'y but still controversial yun kaya nga itong si Sas medyo whistle-blow niya kagad.
Yeah. Well, it certainly is a matter of concern. Yan naman ang role ng ng media. And even if the posting is made on social media, we're still media based on the definition issued by the Supreme Court. Somebody who broadcasts rights for publication.
Hindi ko nakita. Kahit ito, tinignan ko yung post niya, wala namang retrato eh.
Wala ba?
Teka, sorry. Nakikita ko yung trend kasi.
Meron, ilang beses na nag-ano eh.
Ito, okay.
So, this yet? Diba?
Ito,
unmistakably.
Yeah. Ano to? Tinelefoto? Gano'ng kalayo?
Kung employee ka ng airport, edi makukunan mo yan talaga. So,
yan ang mahirap
I understand that it rolled towards the Villamor side.
Yeah. Okay. Diyos ko, hindi telefoto to. Lapit nito eh.
Malapit lang.
Tsaka cargo plane nga to.
Malamang nasa Terminal 3 yung kumuha ng picture na yan.
Here's the thing, dahil nga sa social media, siguro nung panahon ng Vietnam War, ayos lang to. Hindi mo mapapansin.
I think it's younger. It's younger.
What I'm saying is yung instance na makukunan, mapupost, hindi, ayan na, nagwa-viral na. Talagang tapos na nag-post, ito ba yung original post na pinadala niya kay Sas nga is natural po ba ito?
Nagtanong kasi yung source ni
tapos sinabi
Sas.
Okay lang magitin natin to, di ba? Naka-post na rito. Ko to. I'm currently working po sa MIA. Then my friend from MIA AICCC, Airport Integrated Command and Control Center, messages to me. So medyo na-narrow down na natin kung saan ang galing. So mga nagtatrabaho sa MIA to, nakuna nila. Siguro kahit sila,
Nagtataka sila.
Nagulat
There's
sila. It's out
no
of the
prior,
ordinary. Oo.
walang prior notice sa kanila. So, ito lang. Okay, ito lang. On matters of national security, as long as hindi siya tumatawid into the public sphere, hindi natin talaga pag-uusapan yan. Pero once it has come to the attention of media and there is no notification on us na wag niyong ilalabas yan, pwedeng pag-usapan yan.
Pag-usapan natin. Social media to.
Correct. So lumabas na eh. It's already out there. So hindi na natin pwedeng, we can ask. Now, ang tanong unang-una, legal ba to? Well, kung merong EDCA, I will presume na legal siya. Kasi nandun sa nakasulat naman sa terms ng agreement natin ay pwede silang it is up to us to arrange yung administrative systems that will allow them to fulfill
ingress and access.
Exactly
Ingress and exit.
yung ingress at saka egress to the particular camps that they have been allowed access to. Ibig sabihin from the moment that they land. Now, as a matter of personal knowledge, I know na ever since, based on the Mutual Defense Treaty pa lang, marami ng instances na dumadating dito ang US military at naglalanding. Dati, hindi sila masyadong napapansin. Kasi nung hindi pa nakakonekta yung international airport dyan sa Villamor, or not directly anyway, at least hindi masyadong nakikita, every so often nakakalanding sila doon. So may arrangement. Ngayon, with the conditions sa ating international airport, hindi na ganun kadali. Makikita sila. Kung kaya't hindi tayo nagtataka kung bakit dalawang airbase ang may additional access sila. Parehong nasa Cagayan. So yung airport sa Lalo is one and I think sa bandang Cabanatuan yata yung isa. So, dun sa accessible para sa kanila based on EDCA. Pag dumating doon, all they have to do is make arrangements sa local, sa airports dun sa area na yon. Ang tanong is, may capacity ba maglanding itong particular cargo plane? So, base din dun sa EDCA, yung labas-masok ng mga gamit nila should be unhindered.
Okay.
Additionally,
hindi sila kinukulit. Ayan.
Ngayon, ang gray area
hindi
dyan...
sila kinukulit ang immigration at amin na cellphone nyo. Walang ganon.
Customs.
Customs. Walang customs.
Diba? Kasi yung immigration, done deal na yan base din sa EDCA. Pero yung customs, pwedeng gray area yan. But if they just say that it is part of EDCA, part of the agreement,
kasi
hands off na yan.
Kung military hardware yan, o Afghan yan,
But what it comes down to is dahil naglanding yan sa international airport natin at nakita, now people can actually raise their concerns. Hindi natin tinitignan kung anong pinapasok nila. May constitutional provisions tayo against nuclear weapons.
But that's been waived because of the EDCA.
Not the constitutional provisions.
Magandang yan, mga taga-subaybay.
Hindi
meron
natin
tayong
pwedeng
constitutional
i-waive.
provision na kailangan
Kiber tayo dun sa mga international agreements na yan. And while, kung kunwari yung international agreements na yan ay gagawin sa ibang bansa, pwede pa, ma-argue pa natin. Pero in the guarantee, bawal kasi ang nuclear weapons dito sa Pilipinas. So, in theory...
even I was covering this in the 80s. The United States neither
confirmed nor denied.
Pero
nung pinasok natin ang Clark, anong meron doon? Missile silos. In other words, they were hiding things from us. Iba na ang panahon. Hindi na rin tayo, since hindi na kanila yung buong base, the base commander has some discretion. Yun na lang ang nagiging gray area at na-expose na naman ito. Ano ang hold ng base commander doon sa mga military troops sa loob? Kung ang presence nila ay gawa ng isang international agreement at access lang naman ang binibigay sa kanila, alam ko, in the area where they're given their camps, pwedeng i-hands off ang base commander dyan. But coming from the outside and going in, and the fact that you're entering the base, pwede yan. Pwedeng tanungin ng base commander, anong laman yan? What are you bringing into my camp? It can raise issues. Buti na lang for them maraming pro-US dun sa ating military. So,
Yun.
I doubt if this is going to be a major issue.
Precisely. Naku, gagawan pa ng ano. Naku, yung kaibigan kong barefoot runner na Coronel o general na ba siya ngayon, would love that. After
I'm
just
sure.
bringing
I'm sure.
certain computer chips and
For nuclear warheads.
And our friend would gladly extol come on, Joel. When you look at the bigger picture of worldwide hegemony of China and this is a small thing. Yan.
Is it? Is it?
This is a small thing.
Is it?
A damn plane landing on one of our airports.
Depends on what it's carrying
Yun na nga, they neither confirm nor deny nga Meanwhile, ang akin naman ganito.
Hindi covered ng ng EDCA yung airport natin.
Naku, Diyos
Yung
ko.
NAIA.
Bukang yun na nga ito yung mga pinupush mo ng konti, yung mga...
You're pushing the limits of what we have agreed
Ganyan
to.
naman lagi tapos sasabihin off the table, but this is definitely on the
It's
table.
on the table.
Which brings me, but then again, the US is terrible at this. They could do this a lot more discreetly, a lot more with the proper planning well, heck, when you watch movies like Extraction and the other stuff, they do it in some secluded na kasamang parating nakabantay yung mga staff siguro at something din
ito,
pag-unload kayo doon din ay hindi yung Diyos ko na dito sa runway talaga ng NAIA siyempre kukunan niya ng sino mang may cellphone.
Buti na lang marami akong kliyente sa military. So you cannot identify who made kwento. Ang kwento nila sa akin, back when several years ago. Some time ago, okay? More than a decade, actually. Kayang alam mo yung aeroplano na vertical liftoff?
Well, I haven't seen one do it.
Pagka may training, yung mga kaibigan natin.
Si Top Gun, ayan, nakita ko na
Yung meron, dadalhin sila somewhere, either magte-training sila o sila yung nagle-lecture o ay magagaling sundalo natin. Minsan, moments notice, parang a few hours, pack your gear, you're going to so and so country. Ang one time, ang sinakyan nila was that, the vertical lift off yung So, they were in and out in something like 10-15 minutes. Pagdating nung aeroplano, sakay sila, they left. No visas, no immigration, no customs, no nothing.
Precisely.
Borderless pagka ganyan. And the US can do that. Between all of the camps, the bases that they have set up all over the world, mga kampo-kampo nila, and plus this special arrangement with the Philippines, they can actually do this. Walang borders. They don't exist for them.
Well, in the larger picture of the war against drugs or the war against terrorism or the war against the US enemies, siguro yun ang nangyayari, di ba?
Di ba? What can you say about that?
Ano yung sasabihin ko, nakalimutan. Kasi ito, grabe yung na to yung this could grow this will basically become a controversial issue.
It already is.
It already is.
Kasi nga, lalo na yung tumataginting na katahimikan ng DFA.
What I was going to say is that, yung sinabi mo kanina, a Filipino base commander or air base commander, for example, ganyan, or a base commander, definitely dapat malaman niya kung ano pinapasok sa kampo, at paano yung ingress-egress. But within the parameters ng EDCA, even in the past, and I've known this even in the 80s, although iba yun, may US bases pa tayo, the Americans want unrestricted, when they're doing an operation, coordination na lang.
And it must be carried out in
right,
secret.
This has to be done yesterday. Because we're moving
absolute
speed
secrecy.
is of the essence. Although I was watching, maiba lang, I was watching, merong sa HBO. Apple TV, napanood ko yung Katrina, yung Hurricane Katrina. Nangyari dun sa what was that? New Orleans.
Okay.
Yung bagyo ang hindi problema yung bagyo. Ang problema nila pagkatapos ng bagyo, nagiba yung levee, yung mga dams nila, at pumasok na yung tubig at inundate na yung city. Hinayupak na mga Amerikano, hindi rin pala kayang gumalaw ng mabilis. That is why sino ba president? Si Bush, di ba? Was really lambasted for that because from the airlift to the logistical support, talagang it took them weeks bago maayos at maraming namatay. But what I'm saying is pumapalpak din sila. But when they're in places like ito sa Pilipinas, sa South America, talagang this has to be done immediately. Kailangan makapasok kami dyan. Make it happen. So lalanding na nga. We'll bring a Harrier jet. Ayun sabi, Harrier jet yung vertical take off para mabilis. It will happen. In the one instance na hindi sila pinayagan, ginawa pa rin nila. Look, yung ginawa nila yung mga pinatay nila si Bin Laden sa Pakistan. That had no permission from the Pakistani military.
Wala silang borders.
Wala talaga. Yun, talagang in and out. At
international interest.
Yung aeroplano nila sa loob ng compound doon. Kasi mahuhuli sila.
If they were caught,
wala silang coordination sa Pakistani army, sa police, and everything.
Well, because somebody might tip off
but here, ay naku, talagang may coordination sila with everybody.
Kahit wala. Kiber sila. Diba? Mahuli sila. They'll just say na, EDCA, whatever.
In this case, EDCA ang magiging convenient.
Ngayon, merong isang tanong na parating lumalabas dun sa pag-discussions natin tungkol dito sa EDCA at sa mga Afghan applicants/refugees. Sinasabihan ako na hindi sila refugees, employees sila ng US.
Okay.
Okay. Why are those two mutually exclusive things? Paki-explain na lang sa akin kung bakit magiging automatically hindi sila refugee kung sila ay empleyado ng US. Paki-explain lang po. Kasi ang definition ng refugee, umaalis ka sa bayan mo, but there's danger to you because of your race, your joining a particular group or community, in this case affiliated with, and so on, religion, and so on. So, can you explain to me why this is mutually exclusive? Talagang meron na, di naman sila refugees, employees sila ng US.
Sila ng Amerika, kaya
that has yet to be proven. 60,000 employees ng US. Kahit US di naniniwala. Ano ba? Number 2, so why would you say that they're not refugees? Kasi it's not exactly a good or a bad thing until something happens. Diba? Sa Indonesia, merong mga, and they have no agreement with the US, pinupuntahan lang sila dahil Muslim country, pinupuntahan sila and tinatanggap naman nila as refugees. And because they're waiting for their special immigrant visa sa US, or a majority of them. Maraming iba nag-seek ng asylum or refugee status in other countries din. But they have been there for over 5 years. Wala pang nangyayari. So yung assurance na what happens now once you admit them, 'di ba? So when you admit them, at kahit sabihin pa natin na empleyado sila ng US, who is going to feed, house, clothe, educate them?
May budget dapat yan, di ba?
Allegedly ng US. For how long?
Okay.
And for ano? And are we even prepared for this? And how does that argument work? Employees sila ng US. How does that work here? Okay. Di ba? How does that negate any of the problems? It doesn't. So, magkaliwanagan lang tayo. It does not. Diba? Doesn't answer anything. So, magbabalik ang Karambola. Ang oras natin, 9:01 ng umaga.
Oras, hatid sa inyo ng NGCP. Karambola sa DWIZ. Karambola sa DWIZ.
RPN Radio Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda, DZBS Baguio. Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Pag inuubo, plema. Pag hinihika, plema. Pag hirap sa paghinga, parado ng plema. Ilabas ang plema sa bisa ng lagundi. Plemex Forte Lagundi Capsule and Syrup. Ang Plemex Forte ay gawa sa natural na dahon ng lagundi na tumutunaw at nagpapalabas ng plema. Para magaan ang paghinga, hinto ang ubo, tigil ang hika. Ubo, Plemex. Hika, Plemex. Hirap sa paghinga, Plemex. Madaling tandaan, plema? Plemex! Basta lagundi, Plemex! Vitex Nigundo L. Lagundi Leaf is the generic name of Plemex Forte.
Pride Bar, hindi lang puti, kisla puti.
Pag nilaban sa Pride Bar Blue, ang puting damit ay magiging
Mas puti ito, mas puti ito, mas puti ito.
sa Pride Bar Blue. Pwedeng hindi na ako magtina, anyel o bleach dahil ang Pride Bar Blue ay may power whitener na nanunuot sa bawat hibla. Kaya ang damit ay kisla puti at panayan pa sa kamay. Nanunuot sa bawat
Ito, mas puti ito, mas puti ito.
Pride Bar Blue with power whitener. Di lang puti, kisla puti. Pride Bar Blue. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Si Mommy at si Washing Machine believe sa Pride Washing Machine Detergent.
Hello, Washi!
Hello, Mommy!
Laundry day na naman! Ready ka na sa mancha, chocolate, putik, libag?
Kaya yan ang Pride Washing Machine Detergent. May triple stain-away formula. Tanggal ang makapit, madikit, at malupit na dumit mancha. Easy ang labada.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon.
All you need is pride. All you need is pride.
Pride Detergent, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Asos mamisos, nagrawat kayong tata. Salsalan yun sa amat na namin nasilitiyo.
Magisinak nga raw. Sana balik. Tasi ka mati mangilibre. Sana ya.
Una, ngam, kurang tipagbayad ta.
Ha! Ay naspa!
Apay pailaan, abapang kayo itipanganan, amapiting kayo. At tuyan, ti Samji Station, eat all you can. Wen gagayem, husto tinangagyo, eat all you can. 350 lang ti maysa, at dan ti unli pork kan unli chicken nyo. 450 pesos met no unli beef, unli pork, kan unli chicken. The Samji Station, eat all you can. Ada discount para kadagiti ubing nga tawin iti 5, ngaging ga iti 12. Discount para kadagiti senior citizens can PWDs. Saan laday ta? Makarelax kayo pa'y kada Biyernes, Sabado, ken Domingo, gaputa adati live acoustic banda. Amang rugi alas 6 iti rabii, ngaging gat alas 9 iti rabii. The Samji Station, eat all you can. Masarakan iti second floor, 3K Building, Swamp, Kilometer 6, Butag, La Trinidad, Benguet. Nakalukat da alas 10 iti agsapa, ngaginggat alas 10 iti rabii. Asidag da ito'y iti opisina ti Rafi Tulfo in Action Office. No kaya't kita pa-reserve, ket mabalin. Umawag kayo laeng, wenno text iti numero 0916-282-7868. The Samji Station, eat all you can. Ne, apay nga tata, inanyumutin ultimo lata.
Ay kit ko namat ngamin nga. Eat all the can.
Naspa! Oh!
Star wax, star wax, wax. Star wax, star wax, wax. Always remember, sa paglinis, pakitabin ang sahig. Mrs. Star wax, wax. Kitang na to the max.
Star Wax, the #1 floor wax. Adaan waterproof formula. Sibukan man iti danom, nagsubliti sila piti datar.
Star wax, wax. Kitang na to the max, max, max.
Star Wax floor wax. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
This station is a proud member of the Kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas, celebrating 50 years of serving the nation through responsible broadcasting.
Balikan natin ang ating mga karambolista at ang programa Karambola sa DWIZ.
Backyard pa rin. Actually, backyard pa rin, kino-consolidate lang nila. And then they're now planting more trees.
Yeah.
Pero sila lang yung talagang how do you call this? They're turning it into a larger, rather than a backyard endeavor. Although, hindi rin masama yung backyard kasi nagkakaroon ng income yung mga, yung mga...
When you say backyard, gano'ng kalaking yield per...
Sometimes, like this one, yung binilang ko na to, they have like 3 big jars. Tapos you have choices. 5 peso per piece, 10 peso per piece, 15 peso per piece.
Okay. Nice.
Ganun lang sila. Then, sometimes they sell yung mga bags, like plastic bag this big. Siguro, I'm sure just around mga 3-5 kilos ng laman. So, you process your own. And tapos may palengke lang sa merkado.
Okay. Meanwhile, may story ako eh. Yesterday, pinag-usapan natin kasi yung sa DOH, yung kakulangan ng nurses.
Okay, yeah.
Kasi sabi ng DOH, si Sec Teddy Arbosa said na in 3 to 5 years, wala tayong nurses. Or there will be, parang magkaka-crisis proportions na. Kukunti na lang ang mga nurses natin dahil ang daming umaalis.
Everybody's
syempre, hindi rin natin, we cannot blame them for leaving. Mas mataas talaga ang bayad for and it is a profession. Yeah. Diba? So, and as well as a calling. So, sabi ni Sec Teddy, ang proposal niya originally was, yun nga, i-allow natin na mag-practice, bigyan ng temporary permit yung mga hindi pumasa ng nursing board but received a grade of 70 to 74. 75 being the passing. So, 74 point something, pwede pa yan. Lahat yan, up to 70. And then temporarily they'll be given permits to allow them to practice nursing while they either retake the board and eventually hopefully they pass na. Ayaw ng PRC. So I did actually have a look at the nursing law and tama sila. Kailangan meron kang certificate and the certificate you get it after you pass in order to practice nursing. Ngayon, so ang ginawa ni Sec Teddy, alright, we will hire them as nursing aides. Ayan, legal yan. Okay. So, it is not a regulated profession. You don't need their certificate and you will be assisting the nurses. Pero sabi ng PRC, okay, yes, good. Okay, pumayag sila kasi nag-meeting sila with Sec Teddy. Sabi ng PRC, okay, agreed, we can do that. That's a good idea. And even the congressmen are willing to help amend the law to allow them to kahit na umabot na dun sa point na pwedeng permits, temporary permits. Pero, for the meantime, as nursing aides, sabi ng PRC, okay, but it does not solve the deficiency problem. It does not solve the lack of nurses. And therefore, yun na nga, sinasabi ni Sec Teddy, he is now meeting with legislators to allow, habang gumagawa tayo ng long-term solution, like, finding ways na mas maganda yung compensation ng mga nurses natin dito, to allow yung mga underboard, na yung mga, if you didn't pass between 70 to 74 yung grade nyo, then you will be allowed to temporarily practice until you pass the board. Yung details niyan will be worked out. Pero yun pa rin ang magiging stopgap natin na solution to the expected shortage which will happen in about 3 years. So okay naman, hindi naman pala it's not a clash between the Secretary of Health at saka the PRC. Nag-uusap naman po sila. And the good thing is that they're coming up with solutions. Yun nga lang, ultimately, what we have to address here is yung kakulangan both ng it is supply. Ang daming gumagraduate, ang daming pumapasa ng board, pero they don't want to stay here. Plus yung number of hours na requirement, yung OJT and all that na requirement ng for working abroad,
experience
medyo nananamantala yung mga ibang hospitals. So the nurses in training have to pay to get the hours that they require para maka-work sila abroad. So ginawa ninyong industriya. In other words, what kind of incentive are we giving them to stay? 'Di ba? Kung ako yan, pumasa ka na and so on, pasok ka na. Posibleng yung parang not an apprenticeship, pero may mentoring program until you, not just for hours anymore, but for you to actually make this a profession dito sa Pilipinas. Bakit ka magbabayad? For me, even if aalis yung mga yan,
napaka-disincentive nun. Maglalabas ka pa ng pera,
and it's inhumane. It's not, anong tawag dyan, di ba? Sure, they get hours, but you don't get paid. So what's that? That's slavery. You're asking them to work for nothing, and in fact, asking them to pay for these hours. I think this is one of the things that have to be addressed. This is legal.
Yeah.
Ako, I wouldn't consider it legal kasi nga, walang compensation, kahit man lang baryahin mo, bigyan mo ng pamasahe. Bagkus ay magpapabayad ka pa. Diba?
Well, ako, bottom line, tingin ko okay yung suggestion ni Secretary Herbosa. It seems like an out-of-the-box solution. It's not as if yung ito namang ibang kababayan natin, mga flunkers kagad ang tawag dyan. I mean, it's a...
ang sama ng headlines.
Sama kagad ng headlines.
Board flunkers to be hired.
Yan, no? Tsaka it's not as if kaagad-agad pa-assist mo sila para sa mga major delicate surgeries or something.
How dare you?
Assistants, dun sa mentors, mentees pala.
Ininsulto pa? May kasama pang we're looking to them as our solutions, tapos insultuhin
nyo pa. Hindi, this is
it's the media, by the way. Hindi DOH ang nagsasabi nun, or even the PRC.
Meanwhile, again, we will repeat it. We mentioned it. Binanggit na namin ito nung nakaraang linggo. At ito, nababasa ko na naman na dapat, ang gawin daw ni Secretary Herbosa to solve the nursing crisis is to have the Marcos administration master the political will na taasan ng sweldo ng mga nurses sa lahat ng mga private hospitals, medical facilities. Alam niyo po, ang problema natin po dyan, pipe dream po yan we are not a first world country. Pag ginawa niyo po yan, pinagtataas natin ang sweldo na on par dun sa kahit na hindi on par, malayo sa mga nasa Europe at sa US, magsasarahan po yung mga ospital na yan, yung mga medical facilities na yan. Dahil kung dyan mapupunta lang yung kanilang di ba, yung kanilang revenue at kikitain. I mean, that's the reality. Reality na, again, may mga sumagot dati na magkano per hour dun sa abroad. Hindi talaga matatapatan yan. So, having said that, meron akong mga kakilala. Meron pa nga akong mga kamag-anak na they elected to stay here. They're working in provincial hospitals. Mga nurse sila. Why? Kasi gusto ko rito mas malapit. Well, okay.
You with your family.
Sa pamilya ko. I mean, alam rin nila, okay, kikita ko rin, but hindi ako masaya I mean, I don't like to live in some cold, windswept country in Scotland or something, parang dyan. Dito katabi ko yung aking mga kamag-anak. Nagkakakita kaming reunion. Tsaka itong mga sinisilbihan ko, kababayan ko. I mean, shout out kay Rose Malilara. Pinsan ko yan na nasa Del Gallego, Camarines Sur, sa ospital doon. Isipin mo si Rosemary, after her nursing studies, should be now in the UK or in France or something. She likes working here.
By the way, marami tayong mga taga-subaybay ng mga nurses in various places. In particular, meron tayong like a whole division sa New York. Kamusta po kayo?
Meanwhile, naintindihan.
I hope you're all well.
Meron akong dalawang kaibigan mo, mag-asawa, husband and wife team. Actually, they're entrepreneurs. They own a physical fitness center sa may Parañaque. Okay. Maganda na. Daming barkada. We have family days and all that. Wala, parehong registered nurse. Physical therapist pa yung lalaki. And grabe naman yung okay, they did, grabe yung sweldo na kikitain nila sa UK. So, they put up a 5-year plan. Okay, 5 years, tapos dala na yung anak nila, si Luke, mag-aaral doon. Then they go back. Hindi nila sinara yung business nila rito, they'll go back to it. But what I'm saying is, they could not turn their back on that dahil sa edad nila at yung sa kanilang expertise. By the way, hindi sila nagtatrabaho sa ospital. Nagtatrabaho sila. May ganun pala yung hindi nursing home, mga senior citizens or PWD, binabayaran sila per hour, they go to the house. And they work for several hours, a few hours, and then pwede nang umuwi, and then gano'n. And they're not working yung on-call ka o by shift sa hospital. Hindi ganun. So sabi ko, okay Anong ginagawa niyo? Wala. Physical therapist, ako nurse, elderly, That's it.
Assistance.
They do it around London and then they're earning good money. But yun na nga, meron din akong pinsan at yung mga kasama niya nasa Del Gallego Medical Center. Okay sa kanila magtrabaho doon for yung sweldo, maliit. Ang problema lang sa'yo, Rosemary, kailangan mag-asawa ka na, wala kang boyfriend.
Grabe.
Okay. Again, hindi am I being
Why? Yes,
what is
it's
the
sexist.
politically incorrect?
It's
Hindi kasi
politically incorrect.
baka slim ang pickings naman.
Why is it the end all of a woman's
Naku, magagalit siya. May lumiligaw. Again, nothing taga-PNP.
Why do we have to
Okay
get
yan.
married?
Okay yan.
Why is that necessarily a good thing to get married? Why is that supposed to be a goal?
She's beautiful.
And therefore sayang, ganon? Are you saying sayang pag hindi kinasal ni nagkaanak? Walang fulfillment? I think you just walked right into that.
Landmine yan.
Naku, doon na halata edad ko. Ang tingin ko tayo, mag-asawa ka na. Dati galit na galit ako noon. Ginaganon ako noon.
Diba?
Kailan kayo magkakaanak? Yung mga ganun. Okay. Well, anyway, tuloy mo. Good job, Rosemary. O sige, tuloy. I will shut up. I'm straying into no man's land.
That is correct. Also, commentary on women's reproductive, how do you call this? Anything. Okay. Since you do not have the same womb and you do not carry a baby to term and therefore create a bond that is, that kind of freaks you out every so often. So, I'm telling you, all mothers in some way or another are insane. Because what kind of force drives you to sacrifice your own life, to put your health in danger for another human being? It's because you carry that human being inside you. It's it's unbreakable. And it makes you do really nutty things. Yeah.
Totoo.
My kids will attest to this. So anyway, so in the meantime, maraming nagtatanong, ano ba nangyari sa Russia?
Uy!
Ay!
Okay.
I've been reading a lot of
Sinabi natin ni Winston Churchill, Russia is a mystery within a mystery, wrapped within an enigma. Ayan, nakikita mo na ngayon. Hirap kilatisin.
Oh yeah. So it's being called the Wagner Mutiny. Wagner Mutiny. Ride of the Valkyries naman yata yan. By Wagner the composer.
From chef.
Pero ikwento niyo, sino ba si Wagner? Ano ba nangyari
from being
dyan?
a chef to a PMC, di ba?
Pero he's a top general o commander.
Si ano yun? You're talking about what's his name?
Pronounce it.
Prigozhin. Okay, Prigozhin owns the private military company named Wagner. Okay. What is a private military company? Basically, these are mercenaries. These are professionally trained soldiers. Sundalo sila. Pero usually, ang sundalo, they're in the service of a particular country. Ito, they're in the service of whoever pays them.
Soldier of fortune.
So, this is not the first time we're hearing about private military groups. The US, nung hindi sila makabayad ng mga benefits para sa kanilang mga sundalo at mga opisyales, ay inaugment nila yung kanilang mga tropa with Blackwater. Which were, what do you call them? At the time, they were called security specialists.
Security consultant.
Consultants. Pero lumalaban sila. Technically, mali yun. Kasi, but they were just using the same terms they were using in the Vietnam War. And sa Vietnam, nagpadala sila ng 70,000 troops. Over several years, maraming namatay and so on. Ang tawag sa kanila, hindi foreign troops, kundi consultants.
Consultant/advisor.
Pero lumalaban, ang consultants, advisory position. Advisory yung position na yon. So, katakataka bakit sila nandun. Pero may issues kasi ng sovereignty. Pag naglagay ka ng military sa ibang bansa, ang tanong is, pinayagan ba ng ibang bansa na yon? So, given yung gulo, let's say sa Vietnam, nung time na yon, sila ba ay pinayagan? May sovereign issues yan. Kaya kahit dito sa atin, kahit walang balikatan, may mga tropa ng US dito. At ang tawag natin sa kanila, consultants at advisors.
Consultant.
Kaya hindi sila pwedeng makipagbarilan sa mga enemies natin. Meron naman tayong mga internal enemies, di ba? Hindi sila pwedeng pwede nilang ituro. They're over there, they're over here, ganyan. Which is the kind of, how do you call this, balancing act that we have to do. Kahit may MDT, kahit may EDCA, hindi pa rin sila pwedeng lumaban. Ang ibig sabihin kasi ng uniforme ay ahente ng gobyerno. And when you are an agent of the state, you act as though you are the state. Okay? You are a state force. And therefore, yung actions mo are the actions of a sovereign. So, US military in uniform dito sa Pilipinas are acts of the sovereign United States. So, yung legal fiction natin, meron tayong EDCA. But in order to preserve our sovereignty, hindi sila pwedeng makipagbarilan. Hindi sila pwedeng mag-act like soldiers and do actual rescuing, actual shooting, hunting down terrorists and all that. Di nila pwedeng gawin yan dito. They can only train our soldiers, train our military, and provide advice and consultation. Pero dito, yung Wagner, yung private military company ay, private at ginagamit ng Russia. Ginagamit nila sa Ukraine. Okay. So, by all accounts, winning ang Russia daw. Of course, it depends on which network you're reading.
If you're reading RT or
diba?
if you're reading
Russia is gaining ground sa Ukraine. Diba? As far as, in fact, even the most hardcore US, rara boys in the media are saying that Russia has the upper hand. Simply, yung iba, you can tell that Russia has the upper hand kasi tahimik yung rara boys ng US sa media. So, given that advantage, biglang naggawa ng demands itong si Mr. Prigozhin. Meron siyang kaaway sa top echelons ng Russian military. Sino ba itong yung defense minister? Sergei Shoigu.
Shoigu.
At saka Chief of General Staff Valery Gerasimov. I love Russian names. They're so much fun. So, yun. Meron siyang mga demands. No, ito yung weird. Backgrounder muna. Ano bang, itong si head ng Wagner, si Prigozhin, is close to Putin.
He's like a crony or some sort.
In fact, ang tawag sa kanya, favored warlord. Kasi that's actually what he was. Warlord siya in some province in Russia. He hired he created Wagner and then, volunteered to support Russia's efforts in the Ukraine. Of course, for a fee.
Close to his heart siya kay Putin.
So, but recently, because of what happened, galit na si Putin. Sino ba si Prigozhin? Mayaman to, warlord, and one of Putin's former
crony,
close allies. Isa pa. So, sino ang ginagamit ni Prigozhin dito? Aside from his already employed mercenaries, kumuha din siya ng mga Russian prisoners.
10,000 prisoners.
Holy cow, ganun pala kadami. Okay.
So you fight there in Ukraine, if you live, parang...
you get your freedom. Yun yung kapalit.
Umabang ka lang. Ilalaban talaga yan.
So I wonder what state of health they're in. Diba? Kasi kung matagal ka na sa preso with all the deprivation and all that.
Cannon fodder, basically.
Panghagis. Of course, yung mga recent na pwede. So, yung accusation ni Prigozhin sa defense minister ay incompetence.
They've been bungling the war effort, sabi niya. Kasi siya ang masterclass na kung paano na talagang lumaban sa Ukraine. Dahil nananalo sila. Well, yun ang...
2014, he was there already.
Nandun na siya.
Correct. So, basta incompetence, hindi siya marunong, maraming mistakes, and hindi nga dapat inabot ng ganito katagal, supposedly, kung competent daw. Yung defense, ano ba tawag doon, minister ba? Defense chief ng Russia, kasi wala namang maliit yung trained army ng Ukraine. And in fact, karamihan ng lumalaban sa Ukraine, untrained civilian, quote-unquote, volunteers. Not they're not actually, di ba, there of their own free will. Yung iba, kapit sa patalim. Yung iba, parang nakakahiya naman. Conscripts and all that. So,
people.
Paano mangyayari na natatabla ang Russia? Well, aside from the support of the US, syempre, meron dyan, miraculously, may mga dumadating. Miraculously, meron silang mga ganito, meron silang munitions, parang hindi nauubos.
Mas malupit pa sa EDCA.
Ammunition, free ammunition from everywhere.
Para silang yung mga action stars natin, di ba, na hindi nauubusan yung bala.
Hollywood movie.
Ganon, Tapos merong yung air support, yun lang medyo controversial kasi ayaw ng mga neighboring countries madamay dito. Paano kung manalo ang Russia, di galit na forever ang Russia? Paano kayo mag-bilateral treaty? And you'll need their fuel. You will need,
sira yung mga defense contractor.
Correct. Isa pa yun. Of course, sira yung mga defense contractors. Tapos, meron pa siyang accusation na ina-undersupply yung Wagner.
Yun nga tayo parang naging trigger.
ammunition.
Ginasarabi ng naging trigger. Withheld yung bala, ammunition sa kanilang, sa Wagner fighters.
Supplies.
Or something ganon. Tayo naman, di tayo privy. Ina-accusation niya.
So, na-upset na yung balance. Kasi binabalanse niya, knowing Putin, he would use one against the other. To para
kill each other off.
Yeah. Keep your enemies divided or your friends divided also, so they don't gang up on you. Napuno itong ang Wagner, si Prigozhin.
First strike.
And then after making demands, started a march to Moscow. They were coming from Ukraine. So, nag-march sila to...
Wala sa front line.
He called it a march for justice.
Kuha ka na isang brigade doon.
Takutan
sabi daw, but of course, ang nag-report nito, Reuters. So, take it with a grain of salt. Kasi ang Reuters, medyo, hindi na nila tinatago yung pagka one-sided. Yung kanilang leanings. Medyo...
RT was saying daw, di ba, biniaran daw nung ganyan, may bayad na daw kagad na si Wagner galing somewhere.
Oo, meron daw, allegedly na tumanggap ng bayad.
5 billion, something?
Oo, para to instigate this, para
crazy.
Sabi ng Reuters, allegedly, take it with a grain of salt, na sinabi daw ni Prigozhin, the war in Ukraine was built on lies and called for evil. Tingin ko meron ng may karga na to. It doesn't, what does it serve Mr. Prigozhin to say something like that? Ang kalaban niya yung defense minister. So, just be aware rin na ang daming dito. Ang daming, how do you call this? Ang daming karga. Yung mga, hindi na reporting komentaryo na Hindi na
Right. Itong mga to
naging op-ed bigla.
Totoo yan. Straight news. Op-ed masquerading as straight news. Okay. Meanwhile, ang isa pang akusasyon ay si Shoigu daw ay tinago ang 2,000 dead bodies daw ng Wagner men.
Mas mabili yung mga preso.
Well, kung hindi ka trained enough to sinabak mo, parang kumbaga warm bodies lang sila, tagasalon ng bala. Yun. Sinabi pa niya that the Russian military attacked his troops.
Nung March pa.
Ayun yung mga tinagong bodies.
Forcing them to fire back.
So, hindi malinaw kung saan nanggagaling yung, at saka bakit biglaan yung mga kwentong ganito. Kasi, you know, the West, pag nakaamoy sila ng weakness, nag-aaway yung dalawa, exploit. Bakit ngayon natin naririnig to? So, my guess is there's more to it pa than that's actually being reported and lumalabas.
More than meets the eye.
You know, but has this weekend Putin, actually, that's one of the bottom line.
Hindi naman, umabot kay Putin So, in fact, he appeared dun sa sa TASS, yung Russian news agency, strongly worded speech against Wagner and called it treason. Which is true. It is treason by any definition. Nasa gyera kayo. Tapos suddenly you will attack your own country's troops. Okay, pero bago na-quell lahat ito, nagmamarcha na sila na involved dito si the other guy. The head of anong pangalan ng country na yan?
Belarus. Lukashenko, he brokered the brokered the deal.
Yung sa Ukraine, di ba?
Belarus president.
Belarus. So that in itself is nakaka-misteryo din
Why would I broker a deal with these two guys?
So lahat yan nangyari Friday. Friday. By Saturday, nakatawid na sila into Russia from Ukraine. So, tapos, medyo naging, yung mga local government officials ng Russia at that area told the citizens, you stay in your homes and so on. Kasi nagmarcha lang naman, wala namang violence. Pero show of force yun. Kasi may dala silang tangke, dala nila yung mga
BMPs.
Maintindihan mo kung bakit sinasabi nila it's a coup. It's not a coup. Okay? Ang magkalaban dito, Prigozhin was very careful with his words. Hindi nila gusto itopple si Putin. Ang gusto lang niya, i-take down si defense minister. Ang gulo. Okay.
They even offered nga, di ba, yung mga troops of Wagner, if you're not involved, sabihin nyo na kagad.
Oo. So, nag-demand siya, si Prigozhin, nung Saturday ito, sa headquarters na may nakipag-meet sa kanya yung Army Lieutenant General si Vladimir Alexeyev nakipag-meet sa kanya, may video na lumabas. So nag-usap sila at tinuloy-tuloy pa rin niya yung mga demands. The march was to continue on Saturday. Ito na, pumasok na si Lukashin. Nag-umanda. In the meantime, hindi naman nag-stand down lang yung Russian military. There was an order that came out, I think it might have been from Putin himself, but the Defense Ministry ordered the military to consider the Wagner fighters as a terrorist group. So, the tensions are still high by Saturday, but they were advancing towards Moscow. Ayan na. 5,000 fighters pala ito.
Kasama ba dyan yung mga convict?
I don't know. Siguro nandun pa sa Ukraine yung wala akong nakita dun sa...
I don't know kung it wouldn't be in their interest.
Mga regulars to.
So, on Saturday din, ayan na, pumasok na si Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko at nag-usap sila with Prigozhin who agreed to de-escalate the situation. Si Lukashenko ang nag-offer to mediate. Maganda yung si Lukashenko kasi close siya kay Putin. They have history together at ni-recognize naman siya ni Prigozhin. Nung Saturday night, nag-start na mag-pull out.
Halika dito.
I will let you down kung By Saturday night, nag-pull out na yung Wagner forces. Tuloy natin pagbalik ng Karambola. Oras natin 9:35 ng umaga.
This time check is brought to you by Petron. Fuel for everyone. Karambola sa DWIZ.
RPN Radio Philippines Network. Radyo Ronda DZBS Baguio.
member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Ang buhay ay masaya pag ang hugasin ay easy, lalo na sa masebong kaldero at kawali.
Kaya mag-Smart Dishwashing Paste, pang heavy-duty hugasin.
Ang galing, galing, galing.
Smart!
Yan ang Smart Dishwashing.
May double tanggaling formula, tanggal galingan sebo at bakterya. Kaya ang Smart #1 Dishwashing Paste.
Ang galing, galing, galing.
Smart!
Yan ang Smart Dishwashing.
Smart Dishwashing Paste, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing. ISO certified, world-class quality.
Sa panahon ngayon, kau ba'y sigurado? Kau ba'y protektado? Ang pamilya ay i-shield mo.
Laban sa bakterya,
I-shield mo.
labanan pati virus,
I-shield mo.
Shield That Soap. Patay ang 99.9% of bacteria and virus tested. Bilib ang mga eksperto sa Philippine Nurses Association.
sa sakit protektado,
I-shield mo.
pamilya protektado,
I-shield mo.
Shield Bath Soap. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified world-class quality.
Lemex na! Kawawang batay, lubo, hinika, parado ng salbay, plema. May halamang muntik, natural ng pampawi, kung tawagin ay lagundi. Nasa Plemex for Kids yan, sarap lasang orange, yummy, banana. Plemex
Sa ubo ng baby Pasteco, Plemex Lagundi for Kids. Pinalalabnaw at pinalalabas ang plema para sa maginhawang paghinga.
Tigil na ubo, sarap na huminga. Plemex lagundi for kids na. Basta lagundi, Plemex.
Vitex Nagundo L. Lagundi Leaf is the generic name of Plemex for kids. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Pamilya padala, ML Kwarta padala. Mula sa M. Lulier, mabilis, madali, maaasahan. Kwartang pinaghirapan, pinag-ipunan. Sa M. Lulier, aming pinagkakaingatan. Padalang kinakailangan, labis na inaasahan. Mabilis makakarating sa paroronan. ML Kwarta padala, pamilya padala. Padalang galing sa puso.
Basta kwarta padala, mag-MLWiller na. Lahat sigurado.
Kayo po'y nakikinig sa RPN DZBS 13-6-8.
Balikan natin ang ating mga karambulista at ang programa Karambola sa DWIZ.
So, you spell it with a W but you pronounce it with a V. So, pinopronounce lang namin Wagner in accordance with the with the way it would be pronounced there. Okay.
We don't read Cyrillic.
Di ba? Yeah, yung mga malalalim na Cyrillic di na kaya. So, yung yung ano ba to? So, okay. By Saturday, nag-pull out na yung Wagner Group and then yesterday ba yun? Or the other day, nag-speech na si Putin and called it treason. So, obviously, they're going to be dealing with the Wagner Group. Pero ang tanong, sul-sul ba?
It's hard to say if there's money involved din kasi mercenary yan at the end of the day.
One, mercenary sila. So, hindi malayo.
Bidder.
Number two, they're winning in the Ukraine or at least we get that impression. Okay?
Well, yun ang kanilang message.
Diba? Tapos, the timing is ridiculous. And then,
parurusahan ba yung mga...
Of course. Treason, that's death penalty yan. In most countries, if not all,
execute.
Treason is a death penalty.
Firing squad.
Why? Now, the reason for this is that the state first has to protect itself. Always. Kaya kahit hindi yan ilagay sa mga saligang batas nila, yung mga in general, the state as a person must protect itself before it can protect its own citizens. So, ang pinakamataas na penalty, nire-reserva talaga for strikes against the state.
Tsaka itong si Prigozhin, may mga nasabi na, against
the military establishment.
Which is
direct,
indirectly nakatuto kay Putin. But yun na nga all of these transgressions, parang natunaw lahat. Hindi lang. Yung binabasa ko nga to, talaga.
Parang kala mo, plot ng spy film.
Parang parang si ano ba? Si Ludlum ba yung nag-script nito?
Sabi ng observer, makakasama kay Putin kapag walang kahit pa paano parusa dito. Kasi may reputasyon si Putin na talagang unswerving loyalty.
Hindi kasi, tingnan mo, ano yung endgame? 5,000 lang sila, yung Wagner Group. Pupunta sila, mag-marcha sila sa Moscow. Tapos he kept his rhetoric to not against Putin, just against his defense minister. Parang, what was his point? Pupunta siya doon, babarilin niya yung defense minister. Diba? Ano yung endgame? What was he going to do? They were marching, it wasn't clear.
Duduelo tayo pero may dala akong tropa. Diba? Ang ganun.
Diba mga... Meron nagsasabing wrong, losing na ang Russia. So, kaya nga sinabi ko, Maverick, 2007, ang sinasabi ko, it gives that impression. Okay? Hinay-hinay dun sa mga conclusions ninyo, basahin nyo or makinig ng maigi because we will always put in that that caveat pagka hindi solid yung yung factual background. So, ang sabi ni Leonard Castillo, they're 25,000 strong. Pero ang tinitignan namin kasi dito ay yung reportage. Posible nga na 25,000 strong sila. But is that sufficient? Based on ano yung numbers ng Russian military ngayon?
There are more than 1 million siguro plus the conscripts
Against 25,000. But where are they? So, kung marami sa kanila nasa Ukraine, may chance. Kaya, strike.
Paano kung nasa Vladivostok yung iba?
He kept saying, this wasn't a coup, this wasn't of course, Prigozhin is a warlord.
Yeah.
Pwedeng nag-aambisyon to. Pero, ang ko dito is parang masyadong, the impression, again, is masyadong malakas si Putin for you to have the ambitions to strike at his heart. Diba? Plus magkaibigan sila. I don't know if pero umiral na talaga pera-pera dito. So, but this guy, financially, di ba?
Lots of money. Ganda ng office na sa St. Petersburg. Wagner.
Which is the highest valued real estate in all of Russia and territories. Plus, yung operations niya, as you were saying, yung operations niya sa South Africa.
All over Africa.
All over Africa, not just South Africa.
Not just South Africa. There are a few states in Africa that they have interests in, mga mining
mining
sila nagbabantay doon.
Itong Wagner Group kasi, ang main nakita nila is to provide security for these mines all over Africa. In addition to specialized security services. Kumbaga, these guys are known to be mercenaries na merciless. Talaga. Sila yung mga bumabaril ng mga civilians dun sa Africa. Lalo na yung mga blood diamonds. Yung
shoot
mga,
first, ask questions later.
So yan yung reputasyon nila.
They're that brutal.
Correct. So, in high demand sila, particularly dun sa mga industries na they don't care naman about human rights or anything like that. So, but there is nga a theory going around that that this was panggulo sa Russia and could have been instigated by a not friendly country.
Some three-letter agencies. Or
correct.
We don't know.
Or yun nga, instigated to help balance out things dito sa Ukraine. Now, whether whoever is winning or not, but the prevailing, the mere fact na ang tahimik ng Western media about the state of affairs in Ukraine gives us an idea. Diba? That, all is not well for Ukraine. And this is a strike. Of course, given yung sitwasyon nga,
Zelensky naman hindi, nananalo kami.
Of course, if you're
dami namin nakuhang mga towns at mga
Good point. Artista nga pala yan. So, chosen precisely for his ability to lie without batting an eyelash.
Itong ni Prigozhin. This is something 10 years ago this would not have happened.
Wala yan.
Kay
Putin?
Somewhere, I don't know.
Kahit sino ka pa. So, notwithstanding, alam ko, yung matagal nang pinagbabantayan daw yung away niya nung defense, Pero para ikaw magmarcha ka doon, tapos di ba?
Oh, this sounds like something, talaga, almost sci-fi.
Then tigil.
Spy novel.
Tigil siya, then baliktad, tapos
Ayun, sabi ni Ma'am Victoria sa ating YouTube, as per my research, Russia is winning as of now. Pinagtutulungan na nga sila pero nananalo pa rin. Russia kasi is so big.
Yeah.
Kasi we have a military of 1 million. Crap, I'd think twice. Diba? Plus, yung stoic nature ni Putin.
Talaga yan.
He rarely, hindi mo siya masyadong but that's really very Russian mentality. Hindi mo nakikita yung extremes of emotion, pero they can be really heartlessly cold.
Remember what they did to Chechnya, di ba?
Yun.
Several years, 20, 30 years ago, di ba? What they did to Chechnya.
What did they do to Chechnya for our listeners?
Di ba? Dinurog nila dati yun.
God.
Pero ngayon, maayos na Chechnya ngayon kasi kaibigan na nila di ba?
So, and there's that. But at the time, it was brutal.
Yeah, yun.
Brutal. Hindi,
Walang sinabi yung sa Iraq nun.
Correct. So,
yun na nga, yung personality niya, decisive, kailangan gawin. It's yun ba, yung rescue dun sa,
yung opera house.
Sa opera house.
They gassed all the terror.
Operasyon, plano, tirahin nyo na yan.
Strike, di ba? Ang tindi ng strike ngayon.
None of the Laleta type operation. Opera house yun. Nakabihis lahat ng
Maski napatay yung onting civilians, basta most of them survive. Okay na yun.
Kasi para kay Putin, it's really, you do it because decisively, unswervingly, kasi the message is, wala nang ulit. Wala nang, ganun lang yun.
Ito, dagdag ni Michael Paraiso Duran sa ating YouTube, the Russian army is 1.15 million strong with 2 million reserve personnel. So, ang lagay niyan, nag-hold back pa sila sa Ukraine.
Tapos may conscription pa sila recently,
na ongoing,
diba?
yes.
300,000 additional guys or something.
To augment the reserve personnel. So, ongoing ang training pa nila. So, ako, I'd think twice on taking on. I mean, of course, the Germans thought they would win against Russia.
Wala
in World War II. Yeah, but that was a mistake.
And then yan talagang unfolding pa rin.
Mayabang sila nun yung Germany.
Yeah.
Mayabang sila. They thought they could win. So, they start their strike.
Russians.
In the summer.
Yeah.
But when the Russian winter came,
patay na
wala.
Wala na. Nung inabot sila.
That was it. Without necessarily using its army, Russia defeated Hitler's forces. Of course, Hitler was overextended. He was fighting a war on two fronts. Pero
hindi niya kalain. Sinabihan na siya ng mga general niya, abutin tayo ng winter dyan, patay tayo.
Pag inaabot ng winter.
Main Führer, patay tayo dyan. Wala masyado siyang Anyway, so, but in so far as Russia, ako, interesting to
Kasi di ba sabi nga nung ni Ukraine, magka-counter-strike na sila. Nasa counter-strike?
Baka ikaw naman maunang dyan. Anyway. Pero meron na sana akong gustong i-bring na sa international news na rin.
Okay.
Again, this one I understand. I know the answer. Pero gusto lang i-put it out there. Di ba yung nangyari yung submersible, yung Titan?
Ay, yikes.
All of us now know what a submersible and a submarine is. So, submersible, ano po ito? Yung mga mayayaman na bilyonary,
recreational vehicle.
$250,000 each.
Per
ilan ba sila ron?
5.
Tapos ayan.
Including the owner, so 4.
Now, yung wisdom nila, yung umabot kayo maging bilyonaryo at nagpatrap kayo sa maliit na that's your call. But then, alam mo, may nasabayan pala yan na yung sa Mediterranean, the worst sea accident in the Mediterranean.
Refugees.
Over 700 people died.
Refugees yan,
at maraming na
overloaded
hindi pinansin ng media. Mas nakapuksay talaga yung
media. Sa mayaman.
Anong
even worse? Yung mga nagre-rescue sa kanila, mostly volunteers.
Hindi nga yung professional Coast Guard.
Hindi gaya itong sa Titan, talagang
hinanap ng Coast Guard.
Now, one could easily say, well, gaya ng media, man bites dog. Pero hindi yun yung sinabi mo nga, pati yung rescue, what do you call this, activities para dito sa mga kawawang refugees na to, na yung, fishing boat lang to di ba?
A little bit larger ferry. Siguro, parang trawler siguro. Fishing trawler.
Tapos nalunod dun sa off the Mediterranean coast. Ayun, ang daming namatay. Pero yung attention talaga,
nandun sa mayaman.
Ganun ba talaga? I mean, ito ba yung far from involved
parang tingnan mo yung media dito dun sa Russia, automatically they called it a coup. Kahit ilang beses sinabi ni Prigozhin, I'm not after Putin. So, may karga, including yung allegedly sinasabi ni Prigozhin na yung mga pinapatay yung mga tao niya, nilibing yung mga 2,000 etc. So
it's a lot of stuff going on, no?
Now it's more like na itong campaign ng traditional media against fake news, 2 beses tayo mag-isip before we buy into that. We should not buy into that because pati naman sila the idea is to make the space available so that we can all put in our information. Hindi tanggalin natin yung mga bashing kasi yung mga bashing yan yung reason kung bakit nagkakagalitan Pero yung space so that we can talk. Diba? Space where we can even put in our nastiest and even ridiculous ideas because sometimes they turn out to be true.
Sama na natin mga kibitzer.
Always the classic case is Galileo. And the center of the universe, the center of the solar system. Diba? Our solar centric system. Diba? But galit na galit yung simbahan. They tried to silence him and all that. Parang now, anybody who has a contrary idea and you see entire machineries, let's say of the state and all that, trying to quash that little opinion, we have to think twice. Look at the reportage on the war in Ukraine. It will depend on who you're listening to. There's nobody you can trust. Or there's very few. There's some that will give you good information sometimes and then bad information the next. Or actually, opinion masquerading as information. Diba? Yung mga ganyan. The only thing that you can trust is to have a system where everybody can be heard. So, pwede ba, itong mga Maria Ressa type, yung mga Reuters, yan. Ang hilig niyan, Reuters, when they were here in the Philippines, hi Martin, yung reporter kasi nila, nung time ni Duterte, I was with PCOO. So, the difficult in the interviews, ako yung binabato.
Are these French guys ba?
Germans.
Sa Reuters? Okay, anyway.
Yung reporter at the time, pero si Marte, I don't know what his nationality was. We could speak German, so then, kasi I studied German, so we would have small conversations in German. Mostly it was, hi, hello, how are you, what are you doing? Please slow down because I cannot understand you. That was coming from me. So, they would the interview pa lang, alam mo na yung killing yung mga tanong, alam mo na yung mga loaded
ang tawag doon ay provocative interview.
I understand provocative, but provocative towards one particular conclusion is another thing.
Parang they made up their minds already.
Yun na yun. So all of these issues, media related yun. Yung naglanding yung eroplano sa tarmac ng NAIA, na hindi natin alam kung saan nanggaling.
It's a C-17?
Yeah.
Di ba? Bakit may C-17 dyan? Wala namang balikatan ngayon.
Wala nga.
Di ba?
Baka ito, parang I think that these are the normal operations.
Sabi ko makagaling sa balikatan, ito na yung mga dregs, pauwi na sila.
Naglanding.
May naiwan silang gamit.
Naiwan gamit.
May pinipick up sila na it can be anything.
Precisely.
So, although I'm not buying into the refugee theory.
C-17.
Right now.
It's a C-17 for crying out loud. It's a big aircraft.
Huge. Ito yung mga kasya yung ilang truck.
Oh. 5 Humvees, I think.
Basta yung ito yung makikita mo yung pag naglo-load sila. It's not unusual to see them yung mga 6x na truck na
striker na kasya dun
minsan tangke. Transport sila ng tangke using a C-17. So hindi kaya unusual na you'll see something that big.
In reason ito nasa news nga kasalukuyang nililigawan ng US at ng China ang mayor ng gobernador ng Batanes. The US will provide and may provide nila certain logistical support or ang China naman agricultural. So baka yun may dala-dala tong ang tawag mo
yung C-17. Hindi na makakalanding yun dun.
Precisely dito muna dinala, pinireposition dito, preposition, and then idadali doon sa Batanes. Hindi na muna, coordination sila na yung with our
marami raw C-17s ang naglanding, sabi ni Sir Francis dito sa NAIA. Merong there's a collection daw apparently of aircraft photographer na nakakalanding sa NAIA. Ang tanong is how many C-17s of the US Air Force? Kasi yun yung nandun sa and of course alam nyo sa akin, if the DFA issued a statement right away,
okay.
Yeah, even without a balikatan, this is part of EDCA. They can put in in fact, that's why we expanded the number of bases that they have access to, the number of camps that they have access to, is that for the next balikatan, they can advance the military hardware or whatever else they need so that they are pre-positioned into these camps. Diba? Simple statement would have allayed the fears, but now it's gonna go viral because you're not talking and you're not telling us anything.
Na-delay yung email. Hindi na sabi tuloy.
Nakalimutan na yung memo. May memo pala.
It got lost
somewhere
in the transmission. Ganon.
Yung ganyan, pwedeng tumakbo ngayon sa DFA o
bakit merong...
No, but whatever comes... The current government has, the president is a good spokesperson for himself. Pero please don't leave this to the president to explain. Parang awa niya na DFA step up. Diba? Tell us what's going on. It could be completely innocent for all we know. Yun nga, nagdala ng pagkain for the existing US troops dito. At huwag tayong maglokohan. Alam naman natin na hindi umaalis ang mga tropa ng US dito sa Pilipinas. Tuloy-tuloy yan. Nire-replace lang sila.
Mamaya sa press con sa Malacanang itanong kay Secretary Cheloy Garafilian.
Meron bang press briefer ngayon? Hindi naman nagpa-press briefer si Sec Cheloy.
Refrigerated container daw na sticks.
Uy, dapat
US Embassy, di ba? They fly in their own supplies.
Yeah, but they don't use military planes. They use a diplomatic pouch.
Ang dami namang stage na
baka na, nagtitipid na yung US Embassy.
Wala silang kwarta Masabay mo sa Air Force.
But that is plausible.
Masabay mo sa Air Force, di ba?
Naglaway tuloy si Engineer Venero, stakes. Galing po, in-airlift. Wow. Those are the stick from Iowa na
20
USDA
50 thick.
Di ba? Kailangan lang So, ang importante,
bawal na sa akin yan, tatamaan ako ng gout.
Yung ganito kalaking
yung porterhouse.
Oh my gosh. Gutom na ako tuloy.
Who mentioned steaks? Come on.
Alam mo, Martin, pag nag-uusap ng steak, you have to be prepared.
Na merong steak dyan.
Dyan sa Antis, bili tayo na ihawin.
Nga pala, no?
Sa Antis dun sa tabi.
Hindi ko nakikita yung mga steaks nila. Usually, I buy cheese. So maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay sa Karambola nitong araw na ito. Lalo-lalo na ang saya ng mga diskusyon.
At kung may retrato pa kayo ng mga malalaking cargo na aeroplano.
Padala nyo po. Tag nyo kami.
Steak, pwede na rin.
Salamat din sa mga congratulations nito kay Attorney Larry. Makakaabot po. We wish him well.
Controversial Attorney Larry Gadon.
The controversial.
Kulang yun the controversial
bombastic
but beloved Attorney Larry ganon.
Nagkaroon na siya ng ganon kasi parang kay PBBM. Son of the ex-dictator. Yung mga controversial.
Son of the former
tagline.
dictator. May tagline sila. Fine. Layakapin yan ni Attorney Larry. Sure, why not? Diba? Maraming salamat. On behalf of Martin Co, Joel Laksamana, we will see you tomorrow. Okay? Antabayanan, susunod na programang Ronda Pilipinas with Mr. Dennis Antenor Jr. Ako po si Trixie Cruz Angeles.
Karambola. Karambola.
Sumayin niyo ang programang Karambola sa DWIZ. Hanggang sa muli, tayo'y magbabalik upang ihatid ang pagtalakay sa iba't ibang mga issue. Dito pa rin sa programang Karambola sa DWIZ.
RPN Radio Philippines Network. Radyo Ronda DZBS Baguio. Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.